If I could have your attention, please. Please find your seat. We're going to start in 4 minutes. Thank you. Good. 30 seconds. Okay, if I could have your attention, please. We're going to get started here in less than a minute. morning, everybody, and welcome to the Centennial celebration for the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts. My name is Brian Langpap, and I'm honored to be your MC. Today, we celebrate the Sanitation District's accomplishments since the Sanitation District Act was passed in 1923, leading to the agency's founding. We also honor past and present directors and staff who've contributed to the agency's achievements. Our program today is about 45 minutes long and includes 6 speakers and 3 short videos. Before we get to our first speaker, I'd like to acknowledge some of our guests. In the interest of time, when I call your name or your group, please simply wave your hand. So first, our speakers. Senator Stephen Bradford, Assemblymember Blanca Pacheco, LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn, Carson Mayor Lula Davis Holmes, Whittier Council Member and Sanitation District Board Chair Kathy Warner, and the Sanitation District's Chief Engineer and General Manager Robert Ferrante. Next, I'd like to acknowledge some guests from the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board, including their executive officer. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for helping to protect our waters. Please wave those hands. Next, I want to acknowledge Sanitation District Board members. Please wave those hands. Let's see those Sanitation District directors. Thank you. Okay. Also, we have a member from the Carson City Council, Mr. Deere. Okay. And also Emma Sharif from Compton. Thank you for joining us. We also appreciate having the leaders from sister agencies here today. Thank you for making the time to join us. I see Adele over there, and Mr. Pettyjohn. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We're also pleased to have, drawing a blank here. Sorry, Adam Krantz, who is the CEO from the National Association of Clean Water Agencies. Did anyone see? Did Adam make it? There he is. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being here. And last but not least, I want to recognize past and present Sanitation District staff. Now, included in that group, there are 3 former chief engineers that are present here today. First, I want to recognize Jim Stahl. Where's Mr. Stahl? Thank you, Jim. Steve McGuinn. And Grace Hyde. So there's another former chief engineer, Chuck Carey, could not join us today, but we want to send Chuck our best wishes. With that, let's get to our first speaker, Carson Mayor Lula Davis Holmes. In 2020, I'm going to give you a little intro. In 2020, she was elected as the first black female mayor for the city of Carson. Prior to that, she served over a decade on the Carson City Council. She is currently a Sanitation District Director and Chair of Sanitation District Number 8, for which we appreciate. She's a longtime Carson resident, and she has devoted her career to improving the quality of life for all Carson residents. Please help me give a warm welcome to Mayor Davis Holmes.
Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? God showed his favor on us this morning because we thought we were going to have a 30% chance of rain, but he knew I had to be here, and I didn't want to get my hair all messed up. So I just appreciate the fact that everyone is here. I am the mayor of this great city of Carson and the chair of the Sanitation District 8. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the great city of Carson and the Sanitation District Centennial celebration. The City of Carson is proud to host one of the most critical pieces of environmental infrastructure in the county. It has the capacity to process over 300 million gallons of wastewater a day. The district's food waste collection program, too, helps Carson and the neighboring communities meet our obligations for organic recycling under SB 1383, and also produces natural gases to provide clean fuel for vehicle fleets. One thing that's very important to me is the employment of our people in the district and in the city of Carson. I think when I first started meeting with all the leaders, I said what's very important to me is that we employ the residents that are in the Carson and surrounding areas, because the youth and the young people are our future, so that's been very near and dear to my heart. The city appreciates the Sanitation District for being a good neighbor. In the late 70s, they formed a citizen advisory committee to advise about concerns in the plant. And based upon the input from that group, the Sanitation District invested $80 million to provide state-of-the-art odor control systems in the late 90s and the early 2000s. That has reduced the number of calls that we get about the odors here in the city of Carson. So thank you very much. In addition to sanitation services, the Sanitation District also benefits the community by cleaning up the old Fletcher Oil refinery property, helping develop the Wilmington Athletic Complex, and leasing land to the city to expand Carriage Crest Park here in the city of Carson. Everybody knows I'm a park rat. I started my career in the park, so that touched me very much, and I'm pleased to see that our residents' concerns were heard, so thank you very much. I'm excited that the Carson will host one of the largest and most advanced water purification facilities in the world as part of the Metropolitan Water District's Pure Water Southern California program. This program will benefit the city by providing great new jobs, as I mentioned before, and is another example of Carson being a leader in the South Bay. That's what we thrive on. So I just want to welcome you once again to the city of Carson. I've learned so much about water since I've been the District 8 director, and didn't know all of this. So I want to thank the Sanitation District and everyone that's involved for being here in the great city of Carson. This project that we're going to have in the future will put Carson on the map, and we are future. We are the future unlimited in the South Bay, and I just want to thank you and the Sanitation District and everyone for being a part of this project in the great city of Carson, not LA. I want to put it out there. In the great city of Carson, because I toot that all the time. We are the city of Carson. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you this morning. And again, welcome to our great city.
Okay, now the first of the 3 videos about the Sanitation District's founding.
It was the 1920s. World War I had ended, and Southern California's population was booming. With that growth came an urgent need to safely and effectively manage sewage. At that time, there was a patchwork of cesspools, septic tanks, and a few sewage plants that together provided little or no treatment. Complicating matters, neighboring cities disagreed on how to manage the sewage. To improve living conditions, a regional sewer system was needed. A.K. Warren, the Sanitation District's first chief engineer, presented his plan for a regional sewer system that included a shared wastewater treatment plant and an ocean outfall system. A.K. Warren teamed with Assemblyman Pomeroy and Supervisor McClellan to form the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts and implement his plan. The districts began building the regional sewer system in 1925. The Joint Disposal Plant, now called the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant, began operating in 1928 as the hub of the sewer system. Along with the plant, a 6-mile-long tunnel and ocean outfall were built so that the treated wastewater would be discharged far from shore. This approach helped improve conditions at the beaches in the South Bay. Communities across the county quickly joined the sanitation districts, and flows increased from 2 to 10 million gallons per day in just 2 years. By 1925, the sanitation districts served nearly all the cities in the LA basin except for the city of Los Angeles. The sanitation districts provided the best of both worlds: local control by the mayors of member cities and the efficiency of a regional system. A.K. Warren had a visionary plan and the perseverance to make it a reality despite all the challenges of building such a large system.
Okay, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, which is Sanitation District's Board Chair, Kathy Warner. She's been a council member for the City of Whittier since 2004 and has served as the city's mayor on 3 occasions. She is currently the chair of Sanitation District Number 2, which is the administrative district for our agency. We appreciate her strong interest in the work that we do here at the districts. We also appreciate the leadership she has provided as chair. Please help me welcome Chair Warner.
Thanks very much. It was interesting watching that video. Those first 2 pictures were probably an engineer's nightmare, watching that stuff flow. Then I noticed a couple of other observations, and I think my good friend Supervisor Hahn may have noticed as well that the initial directors, the pictures of all the directors, were all men. Well, look at us now. And they talked about the first chief engineer, whom of course we do want to honor. But we have had a female chief engineer, Grace Hyde, who several of us were happy to serve with. So things have progressed. So officially I am here to welcome you and to celebrate the 100 years that the sanitation districts have been quietly doing one of the most important jobs in Los Angeles County, which is keeping us healthy and safe by protecting our environment. And I'm also so grateful for Lulu, and I'm so grateful that Carson is happy that we are here. That's a big deal. So every day our agency cleans over 400 million gallons of sewage produced from more than 5 million people. I think my house produces a little more than the average amount. The districts has also played an important role in providing cost-effective solid waste services that have been a benefit to all residents in the region. The district's work is essential to our quality of life and our economy. We heard about that. Without the districts, our beaches and rivers would be polluted, and we would not be recycling 100 million gallons of water per day. The employees of the districts have dedicated their careers towards protecting public health and the environment. And even though I don't always understand that engineering outlook and mentality, I have great respect for our employees and for the work that they do. Having served on the Whittier City Council for many years, I really appreciate good public services. And when I turn those handles, I want water. In my experience, sanitation districts are one of the most, not the, but one of the most well-run agencies with whom I've been affiliated as an elected, and I know that our employees genuinely care for the people that we serve. While my friend Janice Hahn, Supervisor Hahn, is coming up, I'm going to conclude by saying that I appreciate the sanitation district's governance structure where city and county leaders work together on water, sanitation, and waste issues for the benefit of the region. And as Janice is coming up, I will tell you, our poor chief engineer, he has 97 board members. Can you imagine that? I feel so badly for him. But nevertheless, we do play nice. We all have opinions. I'm so happy to introduce my supervisor and your supervisor, Janice Hahn. I'm having her come up. She is a twin today because Metro started at 10. So I know that she'll be giving her remarks and then going off to Metro. Thank you very much, Janice.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning to everyone. To Mayor Lula Davis Holmes, Councilmember Jim Deere in the city of Carson, thank you for hosting us in your city and being such a good partner to the Sanitation District all these years. I'm proud to join with you today to celebrate this milestone of an agency that has helped to lead the way not only in providing service to residents, but in managing for our natural resources responsibly. I want to take a moment to thank some of the people who have helped to lead this good work over the years. And we can't talk about the success of the sanitation districts, especially for us 97 board members, without mentioning my friend, Whittier Councilmember Kathy Warner, who is the chair of the Sanitation District's Board of Directors. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the time and work that you put into this agency. And yes, you said the faces of us have changed dramatically since those early pictures. I'm the current chair of the all-women LA County Board of Supervisors. And I'll be leaving to go to the Metro Transportation Board meeting where Karen Bass is the current chair of the Metro Transportation Agency. You know, as we celebrate 100 years for the Sanitation District, I want to make sure that we congratulate the current Chief Engineer, Robert Fronte, and General Manager for your 30 years of service to this agency. Thank you, Robert. I was in the room when we chose you to be the next General Manager of the Sanitation District, and I think it's safe to say we made the right decision. Robert, you're a great partner to the County of Los Angeles. You and our Public Works Director, Mark Pastrella, have a strong relationship, and you two are in constant communication with one another. And in a county as large as Los Angeles, with such a vast infrastructure and growing concerns about the impacts of extreme weather, climate change on our 10 million residents, that partnership is critical. LA County knows that we can count on the sanitation districts, and the districts can count on us. You know, over this past century, the sanitation districts have moved beyond just protecting public health and the environment, and now our focus is on sustainability for this region. For decades, before many other governments and agencies were even thinking about sustainability, the sanitation districts were already on it. Almost 90 years ago, they started converting waste into green energy. And 60 years ago, they started water recycling. And in 2019, construction on that Clearwater project began. And this new 7-mile tunnel begins right here at the Joint Water Pollution Plant in Carson and goes all the way down to Royal Palms Beach in San Pedro, where I live. It's the solution that our communities need for critical infrastructure that is rapidly aging. You know, that video we were watching gave a lot of credit to A.K. Warren for thinking about this idea of this new system. But I prefer to think the real champion was an LA County supervisor, R.F. McClellan, who was briefly mentioned. But we know that it's the supervisors that actually make all those great decisions and policy concerns, and that led to the creation of an orderly system of waste management. That mission has grown and evolved, but the same spirit of providing good, affordable service to residents remains today. From the monthly hazardous waste household and electronic waste program, jointly sponsored with LA County Public Works, that gives residents a safe way to dispose of toxic substances, to providing sewer system to almost 5.5 million residents. The Sanitation District today has a lot to be proud of. And I want to give a big shout out to the dedicated workforce that has worked tirelessly Over the years, you are the reason why this agency has made it to 100 years. Congratulations. And I would like to bring up Kathy and Robert. We have today a 5-signature letter from all women governing LA County, signed on to this proclamation and says, with sincere congratulations and best wishes from the County of Los Angeles Board of Supervisors on this momentous centennial occasion. Congratulations, you guys.
Okay, now it's time for our second video, which is about districts innovations.
The sanitation districts have a long history of using innovation to meet the region's challenges. After World War II, Los Angeles County experienced major population growth and, as a result, a higher demand for water. In response, we started a wastewater recycling program that over time grew into the nation's largest. We began by designing and building the Whittier Narrows Water Reclamation Plant, the first plant in the nation designed specifically to produce high-quality water to replenish groundwater supplies. We then built a network of water recycling plants throughout the county, making it easier for communities to access recycled water. Thanks to this extensive network, we and our partners have successfully recycled more than 1.2 trillion gallons of water since 1962. We also consolidated the treatment of the wastewater solids from our plants in the Los Angeles Basin at a single location, the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. This innovative approach has resulted in large cost savings for our ratepayers. In the 1940s, Los Angeles County experienced severe air pollution, in part from trash being burned in backyard incinerators. The county asked the sanitation districts for help. In 1949, we were given the authority to manage solid waste and proceeded to develop landfills and other solid waste management facilities across the county. Over time, we improved landfill practices and developed systems that turn dumps into modern landfills. These landfills are designed to safeguard the environment and be good neighbors. As an example, we collect the gas that is generated as trash decays and use it to produce green energy. At our largest landfill, we used to produce enough electricity for 220,000 people. Innovations have played a critical role in meeting the challenges posed over the last century. Today, we stand ready to tackle future challenges with more innovation.
Thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Senator Stephen Bradford. Senator Bradford has been a leader in this community for the last 20 years, including 5 years serving as a Sanitation District Director while part of the Gardena City Council. Following that, he was elected to the California Assembly in 2009. In 2016, he was elected to the California Senate, where he plays a critical role in ensuring energy reliability while our state reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Senator Bradford has a deep appreciation for the work done by public agencies and utilities, and we are so happy that he could be here today. Please help me welcome Senator Bradford.
Good morning. Good morning. It is truly an honor to be here and celebrate 100 years of amazing work by the LA County Sanitation District, probably one of the largest sanitation districts in the country. And let me commend your junior manager, Mr. Ferrante, for your leadership and your vision. And I also echo the sentiments of the previous elected officials in recognizing the men and women who work here every day, because without them, none of this would be possible. And as we look at, yes, when this facility was started, not over 100 years ago, it started with processing about 2 million gallons of sewage a day. Now we're over 300 million. And that is to be commendable, because what makes LA County attractive and vibrant is the fact that our environment is protected, our water is protected, our landfills are protected. And this facility is built to capture sewage and runoff. Before this facility was built, we burned trash in our backyard, and our sewer and our water ran to rivers and into our oceans. So you're also responsible for the ocean cleanup that we're doing nowadays. So we thank you for that vision and that leadership as well. It's stated this is a self-sufficient facility. It produces most of its energy that it needs to operate on a daily basis. As an individual who's cheers utility energy and renewable concerns, this is vital to cutting down cost and cutting down greenhouse gas emissions. So we commend you for that as well. We couldn't do it without it. And also, this district controls almost 1,400 miles of sewage canals, which is critical in moving those resources out of our community. And about 49 pumping facilities throughout the county that is part of this project. So it's critical, and it serves as stated, over 5.5 million LA County residents. So it is a lifesaver. We couldn't do it without you. And you're also working with a co-digestion facility. And I was just here last month with a series of elected, a group of my colleagues, I should say, from all across California, and a lot of business folks. What we have behind you is one of the most sophisticated and largest water treatment facilities in the country, if not in the world. And when it becomes fully operational, we've often heard about from toilet to tap or from flowers to showers. That facility will be producing that, a potable system that we can all feel comfortable about, and providing the critical resource, which is water. As is often said, water everywhere, but water, not a drop to spare. It's also said in Sacramento for the last 100 years, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting over. With facilities like that, we will not have to fight over water, because it will be producing water for millions of LA County residents. So that should be commended and recognized as well. Yeah. So I just want to congratulate you for 100 years of excellence and 100 more years of continued growth and prosperity for LA County and the region. Thank you for this opportunity. And I think we do have a certificate, too, that we're going to present. Is it? Do we? It's not as fancy as the counties. It's not framed, because the state has a little bit of a deficit this year, but we're still happy to recognize the great work that you're doing on a daily basis. Yeah, it's... So on behalf of the 35th Senate District and State of California, which we find ourselves here today, I know we're in the great city of Carson, but you're also in the 35th Senate District. We just want to present this certificate to Los Angeles Sanitation District and all the work that you do, and continued 100-year celebration.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No, thank you.
Okay. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Assemblymember Blanca Pacheco. Growing up in the area, the Assemblymember served her community as a teacher and attorney. After being elected to the Downey City Council in 2016, she became the first ever Latina mayor of Downey. In that capacity, she also served as a director for Sanitation Districts 2 and 18, so she knows us. In 2022, she was elected to represent the 64th Assembly District, which includes many of the gateway cities. Please help me give a warm welcome to Assemblymember Blanca Pacheco.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see all of you here this morning. Thank you to the City of Carson for hosting us here today, and thank you all to everyone who's here attending and to all those elected officials who are also in attendance. I'm your Assemblywoman, Blanca Pacheco. I represent the 64th Assembly District, which is, like mentioned, most of the gateway cities, includes partly cities of Whittier, Downey, where I live, Santa Fe Springs, La Mirada, and several other cities. And I want to thank you very much for being here to celebrate 100 years of service and innovation at the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts. I understand the importance of and support your dedicated service to our communities. The efforts to protect the environment have improved over my lifetime, but I also know that we are facing worsening impacts from climate change. The sanitation districts have played a key role in protecting the environment and thus the health and well-being of our communities for the last 100 years and will continue to do so for the next 100 years. Earlier this year, actually about a couple months ago, I had the wonderful opportunity to also tour this facility and the Pure Water Southern California demonstration plant. It was very educational, exciting, and inspiring. And through my service, I have highlighted the importance of renewable energy and climate change efforts. I know that we need to do more for protecting our environment and improving our air quality. I believe in the importance of leveraging innovative solutions to tackle the biggest challenges that we face. I support efforts like your partnership with the Metropolitan Water District that would recycle your last untapped source of recycled water and could provide enough water to serve 1.5 million people. This pure water program would generate over $8 billion of total economic output and create nearly 50,000 jobs in direct construction jobs and indirect employment for the region. This is a great example of how innovative projects that directly address the climate crisis also provide huge benefits to our communities, both now and into the future. I look forward to continuing this important work with all of you as we all seek to protect our environment and leverage all available resources to ensure our children can be healthy and thriving, both now and into decades into the future. Our actions today are protecting the environment for generations to come. And so, happy birthday, happy 100 years. And I also have a certificate which is also not framed.
Okay, next I'd like to welcome to the podium Scott Houston. Scott is the president of the board of directors for West Basin Municipal Water District.
Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to step up here for a moment. and congratulate the Sanitation District on 100 years of service to our communities and our county. And West Basin is the regional water supplier. We're based right here in Carson, our headquarters in Carson. And of course, between the communities that we serve, as well as working with Metropolitan, when we think about the future of this facility, that's why this is so important to all of us, not just our West Basin residents, but the whole county of Los Angeles. I love what was said earlier about protecting our environment, protecting that water that could go out into the ocean, whether it's treated prior or reducing what's going out there. And one of the things I was just thinking about, same with that video, when you think about the history, none of this could be possible without the folks who work in water and wastewater, you know, whether you're in the Los Angeles area or you're in our independent cities. So thank you to everyone for the work you do. Thank you to all the officials that help manage this agency. And we're really looking forward not just to this project continuing and being completed, but as was said before, 100 more years of service to the residents of Los Angeles County. So on behalf of the Board of Directors of West Basin Municipal Water District, I also extend our congratulations, and I know we have a proclamation as well. So thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. So I just want to report that we also received proclamations from the City of Alhambra and from Assembly Member Josh Lowenthal from the 69th District. We appreciate their acknowledgement of our work. So now to our third and final video.
The Joint Water Pollution Control Plan is a reflection of our agency's 100-year journey. Like the sanitation districts, the plant was started to protect public health, but over decades, we developed programs to help our communities be more sustainable. As an example, in 1938, waste was converted into biogas and then used as a fuel for the engines that powered these pumps, making the plant energy self-sufficient. Today, the plant treats the wastewater for 3.5 million people while meeting all of its energy needs. In 2014, the joint plant began converting food waste into biogas. We now produce more biogas than we need to power the plant. Surplus biogas is used as vehicle fuel at a nearby fueling station. In the future, biogas will be added to the natural gas pipelines that serve homes and businesses. All of these efforts help address climate change by reducing the need for fossil fuels. Another long-standing program involves treated wastewater solids, or biosolids, which are rich in nutrients. These biosolids are converted into compost at several off-site locations. Our compost helps plants grow, lessens the need for watering, and reduces the need for petroleum-based fertilizer. The last untapped resource at the plant is the cleaned water. This water is currently too salty to recycle, and until recently, the technology to remove salt was too expensive. The sanitation districts have partnered with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California to recycle the plant's water. This effort is called Pure Water Southern California and would create a reliable new source of water for 1.5 million people. This program is currently in the environmental planning stage. Like the sanitation district's mission, the plant has evolved to recover resources that help our communities be more sustainable. The plant has become a water resource facility. in completing the Pure Water program will finish this transformation.
Okay, so we're almost to our final speaker, but I got to true up a couple things. One, Councilmember Hicks, I missed you in our acknowledgments this morning. Thank you for joining us. So we also received more proclamations that I was aware of. So we got one from City of Torrance, City of RPV, City of San Gabriel, Metropolitan Water District, and Congressman Garcia's office. So thank you all again for acknowledging us. Okay, so our final speaker today is Sanitation District's Chief Engineer and General Manager, Robert Fronte. In 2019, Robert was named to his current post where he oversees all Sanitation District activities. He has over 30 years of experience in the sanitation industry and has worked in different parts of our agency before taking his current position. He also serves on several boards, including the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, or NACWA, California Water Reuse, and the Southern California Coastal Water Research Program, or SWIRP. Please help me welcome Mr. Fronte.
Thank you, everybody. First off, I want to sincerely thank everybody for attending today. It is great to see not only all the staff, district retirees, but all the partners that we have with the cities, our directors, and the other agencies. And thank you for celebrating this important milestone with us. So today we mark 100 years of successful operation. And as people mentioned, we really want to acknowledge all the people that have made this a success. But more important than ever are the rank and file staff that day in, day out, on weekends, holidays, emergencies, keep our sewers running, our treatment plants operating, our solid waste facilities operating. They're truly the heroes for the sanitation districts. And I'm honored to be their chief engineer and general manager. So when people think of water in Southern California in the early 20th century, who do they think of? William Mulholland, the architect of the LA Aqueduct. And the aqueduct obviously was a great engineering feat that brought water to Southern California to allow it to grow. And many of you know in 1913 when that water first came, you know, he was quoted as saying, "Here it is, take it." And Los Angeles took that water and grew with that water. But by the early 20s, that water was used, and unfortunately, a lot of it was discharged right out into Santa Monica Bay without treatment, causing impacts to the South Bay cities. Some of that water was just discharged to cesspools around the counties, and the growing cities in LA County were having trouble trying to decide, well, what are we going to do with this public nuisance, this health concern? And that's when somebody who is not as well known as Mulholland came on the stage, A.K. Warren. And Albert Kendall Warren was his full name, and he went by A.K. Warren. He was born in Wisconsin. He was quiet and humble, but he was also somebody who was very focused on his work, originally as a LA County surveyor for flood control. And he started that in 1914, and that got him very familiar with the LA basin in terms of its drainage patterns and the watershed. And he knew that you could use gravity to flow a system of sewers to a hub or a regional plant and treat the wastewater and solve the issue of wastewater for the region. And that was the start of the plan. And yes, as Supervisor Hahn said, he worked with an LA County supervisor. He also worked with a state legislator on developing the County Sanitation Districts Act, which was approved and signed by the governor in 1923 that allowed for the formation of the sanitation districts. So it was that start and that concept of watersheds, and watersheds didn't know political boundaries. They were more about this idea of the cities and the county working together for the public good. And that made sense back then in the 1920s. It was kind of a novel idea, and it continues to make sense today on our board of 97 directors that often have unanimous votes. Often. So building upon that, another couple of steps that A.K. Warren had was to develop the financing for the agency. And that was the selling of bonds were necessary, and he needed public support. And he and the second chief engineer, who was his assistant at the time, went to meetings personally, met with individuals personally to sell them on the concept of the sanitation districts. And those bond measures passed. But that demonstrated the level of service that, as the first chief engineer and general manager, continued through the agency and has continued to this day with our staff, and the importance of service to the communities and the cities. And finally, they needed a plant, or the hub plant, and that's where Warren sited the first facility here in what would become the great city of Carson. Yes. And this plant has grown as the population grew. As you heard the numbers, from 2 MGD to currently what it's doing between 200 and 300 MGD. But more importantly, the sanitation districts has grown to meet the needs of the cities and the county that we serve. We added solid waste management in the 50s to tackle air pollution. We added water reclamation plants, material recovery facilities, renewable energy facilities. Currently, we're also really embarking on food waste recycling, but in a short few years, we're already one of the largest food waste recyclers in the state here. So as we've done all of these tasks and undertaken all of these activities, we've always done it and received recognition and numerous awards for not only providing a tremendous service, but also doing it at a low cost. So now we're 78 cities in the county working together. Warren's initial vision continues to this day. Service, regional governance, and sound engineering have led the way. Those principles will never change, and they'll guide us for the next 100 years. But some things do change, and I want to end with talking about the name of this facility. As you saw, this facility started off in the 20s as the Joint Disposal Facility, a very simple name for a simple concept. Especially people living next to cesspools probably appreciated the idea of getting rid of that wastewater and simply disposing of it. In the 60s, with the advent of the environmental movement, with the need to protect the ocean environment, we changed the name to the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant to reflect the need to reduce pollution and protect the environment. But as we move forward, we've seen in the videos that our staff put together, this site has always been a resource recovery facility, and that is more important now than ever as we face climate change and global warming and other environmental impacts on our water systems. And so, and also coupled with that, you've heard about our Pure Water project, Pure Water Southern California. Our main partner is the Metropolitan Water District, but all of you cities and all of our sister agencies are also partners in that program to bring a new source of water to LA County, but more importantly to all of Southern California. So now I think is an important time to relook at our name and pick a name that honors the foundation and the beginning of the agency, but also looks towards the future for our role in the region and what the region needs, which is a sustainable Southern California, environmentally sustainable practices. So with that, I'd like to ask the speakers to come up as we unveil the new name for the agency.
Just clarify, that's the new name of the plant, not the agency. Okay. So that concludes our program this morning. For the next several minutes, we want to take a few group photos, including one of all of our guests. At 11 o'clock, we'll be offering a walking tour of the Advanced Purification Center, which is behind us. That's where the technology for pure water Southern California is being tested. Also at 11 o'clock, we'll offer a bus tour of the new A.K. Warren Water Resource Facility. If you want to attend either or both tours, please exit the tent to my right and look for the appropriate sign. Please remember on your way out to go by the check-in table and get a gift bag. We got a nice memento in there for you. And our first group photo is going to be with the speakers and in front of our poster here. For remaining guests, please help yourself to refreshment and head out the tent to my left where our second group photo will be. On behalf of the sanitation districts, I want to thank all of you for being here today to help celebrate our centennial. Thank you so much.